Today I want to talk about winners and losers on National Signing Day, and all that's coming up after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time. Today, I want to talk about winners and losers in National Signing Day because, my goodness, we had some news. It feels like this National Signing Day, perhaps what many people call Lesser Signing Day, has really taken on a different meaning as we're really just reevaluating and readjusting following the national championship game, following New Year's Six Bowls for the holdouts and even more holdouts when it comes to the guys that are announcing where they are going to commit and sign. But the fireworks this day, today, have been ridiculous. I want to get to them, starting with Nick Saban. You know, they tell stories about Nick Saban and his recruiting efforts, right? One of which that I love is George Perlis just gushing about the kind of recruiter Saban was at Michigan State, saying that man was a killer in-home visits. He'd go straight for the mother, and the mother would look at that son and say, "You're going to go play for that man because he's so nice. So nice, he makes your teeth rot." That man is for real out here trying to get every single five-star player he possibly can. That goes back to the 80s. Matter of fact, Nick Saban was supposed to be at a Christmas party at his mama-in-law's house. Miss Terry said, "You need to have your behind at my mama's house, your mama-in-law's house." And he said, "Cool, I'll be there. I'm going to make a stop." He made a stop at Andre Rison's grandmama's house because, well, he knew her, and he was recruiting Andre Rison, play a little wide receiver at Michigan State. That man stayed at Andre Rison's grandmama's house till Matchbox 23 a.m. in the morning. Missed the Christmas party on the Christmas break at his mama-in-law house. Probably caught a butt chewing from Miss Terry, but you know what? He got Andre Rison to Michigan State when Andre Rison was going to go to Michigan. I mean, it was done until his grandmama said, "No, you're going to go play for that nice man, Nick Saban." Like, "Mom, grandmama, he don't even coach wide receivers. He coached the other dudes that I'm playing against, defensive backs." And she said, "I don't care. You going to Michigan State." And he went to Michigan State. Fast forward to 2021. Nick Saban has put together the best recruiting class of all time. 327.91 is the score, which is ridiculous, man. All right, so the previous all-time high was set by Urban Meyer's 2010 Florida Gators at 324.67. Not bad, right? Pretty doggone good. But Nick Saban decided, "I'm going to sign 8 five-star players." Come again? All right, let's put that in perspective. Last year, on their rosters, these are the teams that had 5 or more 5 stars, okay? Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, Georgia, LSU. That's it. That's all. Those are the dudes that have more than 5. What? All right, he got 8 in one cycle? Good grief. Now, last April, yours truly got on the YouTubes here and said it might be over for Nick Saban. They rank 55th in the country. They ain't got no quarterback. They got the one dude committed to them, Drake May, flipped to North Carolina. Nick Saban don't know how to recruit in the dead period in the technologically sound era. And Nick Saban said, "Yo, RJ, watch this. I got a Gmail account. I got an IG account. And I got on the Zooms. Watch me close. Watch me not only close, watch me put together the greatest recruiting class of all time." What? Get out of here, man. Like that offensive line alone. J.C. Latham, Tommy Brockermeyer, James Brockermeyer, Terrence Ferguson, on it goes, right? And then adding Terry and Arnold like in the afternoon as icing. A 5-star is icing on the cake. My face is melting. Like, I feel like Nick Saban said, "No, RJ, this 21 class, this is for you. Watch me, baby. I'm about to go after all of it." Like, they tell stories about Nick Saban, you know? The story about how Nick Saban went to the crossroads, you know? And he left with the ability to recruit anybody in the world to do anything he wants. And, you know, Dev was like, "Cool, one more from me." I'm making that up, right? That's the Robert Johnson story, but it's the Faustian bargain and whatnot, but you understand. It's like that. But I would go back to this quote that Nick Saban gave when he found out Miami wasn't for him, the Miami Dolphins. In the NFL, you were penalized for success. In the NFL, you only get one first-round draft pick, and that's if you hadn't already had it traded away. You couldn't outwork anybody. In college, I could recruit 10 players with first-round talent every year. And he has for 15 friggin' years at Alabama. Since 2007-21, we have not seen a run like this in the modern era. 6 national titles in 12 years. And Nick Saban, gets to tell every recruit he recruits, if you give me 3 years, you will win a national championship. Because that has been the case. Everybody who stayed for 3 years at the University of Alabama has a national championship ring. Come on, man. What else do you need to recruit around? Putting dudes in the league? Yeah, I do that. To which I have the Yahoo in the comment who's going to try to come at me and tell me, well, how many of them going to end up in the transfer portal? None of them, fool. 4 dudes in the 21 cycle. 4 out of Alabama have entered the transfer portal among the 1,600 cats who are in it. 4 from the University of Alabama. Bama boys don't transfer. They not in it for a little bit of shine. They understand that if you trust the process will work. Ask O.J. Howard. Ask Najee Harris. Ask Mac Jones. My God, nobody thought you'd hide nor hair of Mac Jones. Now he is a first-round draft pick. What? And then you get to add, you get to replace, like Ajay Hall, Korey Brooks. Like 4 of the top 10 receivers in the country signed with Alabama. 40% of the top 10 receivers in the country going to Alabama. That's just stupid. And to the folks that want to say, Nick Saban in this program is bad for college football. Yeah, they said it about Barry Switzer in the 70s. They said that about Jimmy Johnson in the 80s. They said that about Bobby Bowden in the 90s. And they said that about Pete Carroll in the 2000s. Now they're saying it about Nick Saban. It's cyclical, all right? It's also fear-mongering. And it misses the point. He outworked you. He outworked you. I want to live in a world where merit and outworking people matters because I outwork people all the time. That's how I got here. That's what this is for me. It is relentless pursuit of greatness and not what other people think of as greatness, but what I think of as greatness. And what did Nick Saban think? He thought, why didn't I sign 27 5-stars as opposed to 8? Good night. All right, winner number 2, Ohio State's depth chart, okay? If the theme of National Signing Day is the rich get richer, Ohio State bought another house in the Hamptons. Because you get to add Kyle McCord as a 5-star quarterback to 4 stars C.J. Stroud and Jack Miller in 21. You also get to add Marvin Harrison Jr. You also get to add Evan Pryor. You also get to add 5-star Emeka Egbuka. But more than that, you get to add 5-star TreVeyon Henderson, who gets to run through the gaping-sized hole that Trey Sermon left. He is a Christian McCaffrey kind of player. He's probably going to win a Heisman if he's not careful. He's that talented. 2,400, 24 yards rushing as a junior, 45 touchdowns. That man is 100% elite. You heard my man Zach Poff talk about him earlier today, but I'm just going to give you the quote one more again. You just turn on the junior tape and you're like, what? No. Every play, a 70-yard house call. I'm telling you, man, I feel like this dude is going to be, he could end up being better than Eddie George or Ezekiel Elliott and obviously all the other great Ohio State backs. I don't know if I want to get too carried away and say Archie Griffin, but I'll say this. He's gonna leave Ohio State as the top 3 running back all time. That's how high I am on this kid. Zach, of course, is the Max Preps national football editor. Man knows my high school football. That's what Ohio State got going in. And I didn't even talk about the defense. It's Jack Sawyer, stand up. Losers. First loser. People born before 1990. All right? Look, here's 6 notable players you'll recognize almost exclusively by name and immediately feel old, okay? Todd Bowles Jr. Yeah, signed with Rutgers, preferred walk-on. His daddy, Todd Bowles, he's going to coach, Tampa Bay's defense in the Super Bowl. Little game this weekend, this Sunday. 4-star, Jeremiah Trotter, linebacker. Junior, signed with Clemson. His daddy, all-pro. Jeremiah Trotter, linebacker with Philadelphia Eagles for years. 4-star wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. signed with Ohio State. I told that to a buddy of mine who worked with the Colts organization for a very long time. Said, yo, that one hit me because I remember when he was born. Yeah, he cold too. He cold over there. So St. Joe's Prep, he cold. He all the way cold, okay? 4-star offensive lineman Rocco Spindler. His daddy Mark Spindler, NFL vet, right? 5-star offensive lineman Nolan Rucci. His daddy, Todd Rucci, NFL vet. 3-star defensive lineman Owen Ostrowski. His father, Jerry Ostrowski, NFL vet. And Ostrowski might be the dude that pops the most for me among these guys that you probably heard of the others. 4-star, 5-star blue chipper. Maybe you didn't hear about Todd Bowles Jr. But Ostrowski is 6'3", 245, which means he's an inch taller and 5 pounds heavier than Steve Rogers on the Super Serum. Okay? All right? Last year, the man had 94 tackles, 41 for loss, 15 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, and led Holland Hall to its first state championship in school history. That is ever. That is all time. Okay? Was committed to Army, flipped his commitment to the University of Tulsa, his father's alma mater, where his father was an All-American 1991. Okay? Ostrowski's next, okay? Owen, who they call Junior, next. I really love his game. You're going to enjoy watching him at Tulsa. Philip Montgomery compared him to Jaxson Player, just not having, the same sort of measurables and size. But here's the thing. Owen can play 4 positions for you. He can play defensive tackle. He can play that 5 technique. He can stand at 1'9". He can play inside linebacker for you. He's that good. Another loser. Those who nailed USC coach Clay Helton's coffin shut, okay? After the 2020 recruiting cycle where the Trojans finished 64th in the country and 12 out of 12 in the Pac-12, he bounced back with a top 10 recruiting class, second best one in the Pac-12 behind Oregon, number 8 last checked in the team composite. And he adds not just Miller Moss, but Max Prep National Player of the Year, Jaxson Dart, coming out of Canyon. Dude threw 4,600 yards, rushed for another 1,100, 1,200 yards. He's coming from the same high school as Zach Wilson. He's going to compete with Moss against Keaton Slowers for the starting job. And then, the number 1 player in the country, Korey Foreman, is going to play some defense over there to go along with the cherry for USC. Rajon Davis deciding to commit and sign, coming out of modern day, a do-everything outside linebacker. Can play some safety inside, can play on the line of scrimmage for you if you want. Shout out to Rashad Davis, who was kind enough to talk with us here on the show last week. Okay. Last winner we got today, JT Tuimoloau and financial aid agreements, all right? Now, many of you don't know, JT Tuimoloau did not sign his national letter of intent today, and he will not sign a national letter of intent at all. He is likely to take his recruiting into April at a minimum because he wants to take visits, all right? He has not visited Columbus at all, and he hasn't visited Alabama in 2 years. Those are 2 teams that are on his list of finalists. Now, one of the reasons I think that this is cool is because financial aid agreements work differently than national letters of intent. And I wrote about all this at Fox Sports in case you want to go check it out, foxsports.com. But I'm going to give you what I wrote because I believe that I'm better in print than I am on a microphone, believe it or not. So let's take it here, okay? What's smarter still is he doesn't have to or get to sign a national letter of intent. Instead, he can sign a financial aid agreement. And LI binds the player to the university for a period of 1 year, at which point the university has the option to renew it. There's no such thing as a 4-year scholarship. A financial aid agreement doesn't bind the player to the school at all. However, it binds the university to uphold its financial obligation if the player chooses to enroll. Another perk, a player can sign an NLI with just one university. A player can sign a financial aid agreement with an unlimited amount of universities and colleges. As one college administrator told Fox Sports, that's where your college football free agency is. We've effectively signed a contract saying we pay you this amount while watching you shop around. It's a win for the kiddos. This arrangement is crucial during December and January when the coaching carousel starts moving like a multi-million-dollar centrifuge. While Ohio State is the leader, Saban is there in the mix, and who says he couldn't add another 5-star to the bounty? Not I. JT, this is the most powerful you're going to be throughout this entire process, sir. Leverage it. All right. That is it for me. I'll catch y'all tomorrow. Deuces.